We are here yet again, and yet another tier list. Yeah, um, this will probably be. I would assume this will be the last one for a little while. I don't have any idea what else to do. But really, I do plan on doing like predictions for every team, so that's probably what the whole next month is going to be while we wait for the season to come back. Hopefully, we'll keep doing other stuff. We're definitely going to try to react to the NBA draft tomorrow. That'll be super fun to watch. I'm really excited to watch it. Basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to predict these teams' placement before I even look at their schedules. Now, unfortunately, I've already looked at the Titans' schedule, and let me tell you what I'm going to put them in already. I'm going to put them as a cellar dweller. That's just my personal opinion. Maybe they break out. That'd be awesome. I would be happy, but I don't believe they will. Right now, I think below average is a team that is probably going to be about to that 6 to 7 win range. I think 5 or below would probably put you in that cellar dweller kind of category. I think middle of the pack is that 8 to 9 win team. I think playoffs. I think 10 wins should get you in the playoffs. That's my assumption. I don't know if that will be the thing, but obviously we have a top three seed. We know who we expect to be in the top three. I'm actually going to go ahead and put one of them right here. I think it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Baltimore Ravens will be the best team in the AFC. That is my personal prediction. I love picking up Jair Alexander. I think a year under that defensive coordinator after filling Mike McDonald's role, I think they're only going to be better. Um, who knows how they're going to do in the playoffs? We, I'm not going to try and predict that because those kind of things are just kind of hit or miss. But for now, I really think that Baltimore is doing nothing but kind of leveling themselves up, and they're going to go in the right direction. I think they're going to be a really good team. Yeah, I'm really happy with that team. Next up, I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills. I have no reason to not believe that Josh Allen will lead his team to a top three seed. Now, he could definitely struggle. I don't really think anybody in the AFC East is really a legit contender right off top of my head. I know that people say the Patriots are, but I still think they got a year or two left. But you never know after what Jaden Daniels just did last year. But yeah, I think that team's probably going to be a top three seed in the AFC for sure. I don't think that they got worse anywhere. I think they got a little bit better, in fact. So I think Buffalo there is probably a fair selection. Now, I think Kansas City Chiefs will also be a top three seed. I do think that they would probably be the three seed in this case. I don't, and you know what? I could definitely see myself being wrong here because I'm wrong a lot anyway. But I think this team takes a little bit of a step back. You know, um, their offensive line is kind of rebuilding. Their offense, I'm not really completely sold on it. Of course, I don't know if things are going to happen with Rashee Rice. I guess we'll kind of see how things play out there. I'm not really, and the thing is I doubt the Chiefs so often when they lose, but then they just come back and win two straight. So I could definitely be crazy on this one, but I think that I'm going to lock in the Chiefs to be a top three seed at least in their conference. The Eagles, I think that one is a pretty fairly reasonable one right off tops. I think that the Eagles are the best team in the NFC. I mean, they obviously are. They just won the Super Bowl last year. They did lose a few players. I don't think it's going to really be a humongous gap for them, though. I think this team is still sticking with its bread and butter, and it's just going to keep doing very well. Obviously, a new offensive coordinator, things may take a step back in the offensive playmaking kind of deal, but Nick Sirianni knows what he's doing, so I don't expect that to go crazy for them. Yeah, I think that locking in the Eagles to be a top three seed is probably a fair assessment right off tops. Now, in the NFC, gosh, do I think it'll be Detroit? Let's lock in Detroit. I think Detroit will be a top three seed. I think they win that division. I don't. I think it'll be very close though, because the truth be told, I really think it's going to be um, the Vikings. Maybe taking a step back, but I think that they're still going to look okay. I would probably put them in the middle of the pack to playoffs kind of range. In fact, I think that's probably where I will end up putting them. The Packers, I'm not completely sold on what they're doing over there just yet. I think that you're going to need a year with Golden coming in. I think you're going to kind of keep taking things in stride and keep taking things in the right direction. I think the Bears still have a tiny bit of a way to go, but I think that they're almost there themselves. But I'm going to stick with the Lions to win the NFC North. I don't have a lot of faith in the NFC South being the ones that will win the conference. Obviously, don't expect them to be that top three seed, but there are some teams with a lot of potential down there. Now, the last team I'm going to put in that position will actually be the Los Angeles Rams. I have no reason to not believe in Matt Stafford to lead that new team with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua on offense, and that defense is getting young and it's hungry, and they're just going to get better. Yeah, I think that is a very good lock, especially with every team but maybe Arizona kind of rebuilding, it seems, right at the moment. Now, we're going to quickly predict the rest of the playoffs. I think the Denver Broncos will be one of those teams that are in the playoffs. Now, they do have a young running game. If RJ Harvey is everything that we would hope him to be, and he was very hyped up heading into the college football season last year. So if he really is that kind of guy and he's kind of in that little, position, then yeah, I think we're talking a really good run for the Denver Broncos. And I think as long as Bo Nix performs, I think that's a team that's going to be really, really good. Dallas Cowboys, I think they make their way back as long as they're healthy. I really do think that they're going to be on their way back. I Their running game, I'm not sold on the running game. I think their defense is going to be better. I don't know if Dallas is a team that's going to be a Super Bowl threat right off the get-go. I think that they're still a pretty solid playoff team. I think that they could be in that 10 to 11 win range. I don't really have any reason to not believe it because I don't think their defense got anything worse. They're kind of banking on some young guys, and I know that, yeah, they lost Lawrence, but really, he hadn't really been taking those steps in the right direction. But he'd been kind of going on the down low at the end of his career. So, yeah, I think the Dallas Cowboys being a team here is probably a fair assessment. Now, my last division winner will be the Houston Texans. I don't know how I feel about Jacksonville there. I think Jacksonville could be a middle of the pack team to below average team. Honestly, we'll get to them obviously in a minute. Houston, if their offensive line is able to hold up, that team is going to be just fine. They have so much talent on that team. I really do expect those receivers to deliver right from the get go because I really do like them. And plus, you have Nico Collins to kind of teach them the things and how they go. And that defense was just absolutely insane last year, and that definitely has not gotten any worse. So, yeah, I think the Houston Texans probably win the AFC South. And they could even be one of these teams in the top three. Who even knows? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think I like Houston to win that division, so I'm going to lock them in here. We've already locked two playoff teams here in the NFC, or in the AFC and the NFC. We're going to put the last divisional winner, and I think it will be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, I think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be just fine. I don't know if they're going to be this dominant team that I would kind of expect them to be in the South anyway, because I think the Panthers have gotten a lot better. I think that the Falcons are okay. The Saints, I think that, yeah, there's not a lot of good things to say about New Orleans just right now, but I still think Tampa Bay is probably that team that you expect to win that South. They have a really good team. They have Bucky Irving. Your receiving crew is absolutely insane. I don't know if Godwin will be ready by week one. I haven't checked his reports or anything like that. But you still have Emeka Egbuka, I believe is how you say that. Yeah, that team has got some firepower on the offensive side. Now the defense, it is kind of, it's kind of in the air range, but you do have a phenomenal coach on the defensive side with Todd Bowles. At least I sure hope that he's a defensive coach and I'm not just talking out my butt, and I definitely could be. But yeah, I don't see why they wouldn't win their division. I still think that they're just fine. Okay, so now we're going to lock in who I think are going to be the rest of the wild cards. I have no reason to believe the Chargers won't be right back. I think Justin Herbert, he had a really bad look in that playoff game. But I'm not done. I don't give up on him just yet. I think he's okay. I think he's a good player. I it's hard to say, right? I think their defense is going to be even better. This is another year under the Jim Harbaugh regime. I don't know how I feel about that running game, and that is my one concern with Los Angeles Chargers. And the reason for that is because so they've been so run heavy, and then J.K. Dobbins did such a really good job last year. Now you bring in Najee Harris, you bring in Omari and Hampton, and that is Jim Harbaugh's style. He likes to play smash mouth. He likes to pound, pound, pound. And yeah, I think this is going to be a team that grinds out just enough wins to get themselves to the playoffs, to be honest with you. I don't have a lot of faith in them right now because obviously Herbert had that really bad game the last time we saw him. But hopefully he's risen from that and he comes back and he just starts dealing for my sake because I hope I don't get all these wrong. Now, another team that I expect to be in the playoffs in the NFC. I can't believe I'm saying it. I think Green Bay is going to sneak their way in there. And the reason for that is I just don't believe that I believe Matt LaFleur will get them there. I don't love the team absolutely. I think the defense is going to be taking some steps in the wrong direction. But then again, maybe losing Jair Alexander will get some people riled up and they will keep working, right? Because there's a lot of players on that team that have to kind of earn it this year. That's everything that I've heard. That this is a team that has to earn it. And heck, I think that they're going to go out there, they're going to try to earn it. And yeah, I truly think that they could be that, I think they can make it in there. I don't know if I'm completely sold on them. I think Minnesota might be a little bit better than them, but JJ McCarthy is kind of that, like, who knows kind of character. And really, I don't believe in the Bears just yet. In that NFC, it's kind of on this rebuilding kind of standard right now. Like, I don't know what to think about the Falcons. I don't know what to think about the Panthers. I think they will take steps, but I don't know if they're going to reach the playoffs just yet. And the 49ers are obviously trying to rebuild. The Seattle Seahawks were close, but looks like they're kind of trying to take things in a different direction. Yeah, I think I'm going to lock in Green Bay for the NFC to be one of those playoff teams. Now, my last team in the AFC, and I think I'm going to regret it, but I think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go with the Miami Dolphins. Um, and this is based on I think Tua will have if Tua is healthy, that offense is absolutely explosive. That defense, I would expect to get better with another year under that DC. I think the Miami Dolphins will be just a little bit better. I think that they're going to be in that little ballpark right there. Yeah, I think I'm a lock in that that's a team that's going to be in the playoffs, in my opinion. I think that they could definitely make it there. I don't see anybody in the AFC that I like more than them right now, especially with the uncertainty that's happening over there in Cincinnati. I'm gonna lock them in to be that last playoff team in the AFC. And my last team in the NFC is going to go to another NFC East team. It is going to the Washington Commanders. I'm going based off of I think Jaden Daniels is that guy and he's going to be back and he's going to get the job done. Yeah, I really do think that he's going to be okay. I think he's going to be just fine. This team, mm, there's a lot of question marks. I understand. Scary Terry with contract issues. Deebo Samuel, not a lot of people are sold on him. The running game, some things to iron out. But I think that this team is trying to protect Jaden. They're trying to work around Jaden. And I think that that's going to be enough to get them into the playoffs. I think that Washington will be a fairly solid team. Okay, so now here's my middle of the pack teams. I think Cincinnati Bengals. Now, they could definitely be in the playoffs. They could definitely take the Dolphins. I would not be shocked at that at all. But I really do not think that that team is. I'm so worried about that defense. It's not even funny. I'm worried about their running game. And yes, I know you have Jamar Chase, you have T. Higgins. I'm not even sold on Zach Taylor completely. There are just so many uncertainties with the Cincinnati Bengals that I think I'm gonna put them in the 8 to 9 win range, and they definitely could be that team that goes themselves in the playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked at it at all. But for now, I don't have the faith, and that's my only concern. I don't have the faith in that team right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I think, are going to be a middle of the pack team. I'll tell you why, because Mike Tomlin just is allergic to losing seasons. But I don't think that team's good enough to go to the playoffs this year. And in all fairness, the best thing that could happen to them is a team that does not make the playoffs and has a losing record, because they could end up in the cellar dweller territory. Because this team desperately needs reprisal of youth, and hopefully Will Howard's that guy eventually, and maybe he is, maybe he is. But man, that offense has just not been fixed with a lot of key guys, right? You got DK Metcalf, though. You got Pat Fryermuth. Like, there's a little bit of talent over there. I don't know if I'm sold on the running game just yet. Yeah, this Steelers team has me a little bit worried. That's why I think I'm gonna put them right in that middle of the pack area. I don't love them. I don't love them at all. The Minnesota Vikings, I think, will also be in this middle of the pack territory. I think that team is good enough to even be a team that sneaks into that playoffs. I wouldn't be shocked if they are in there whatsoever. But I don't have a lot of faith in JJ. But then again, I think that one I can absolutely live to be wrong in this case, because I really do think that Minnesota has a very good football team. And Kevin O'Connell has obviously proven to be a phenomenal coach. The thing is with Minnesota is there's just uncertainty at the quarterback position. But of course, you kind of made magic happen with Sam Darnold, so maybe that I'm just wrong here again, and Minnesota's right back in the swing of things, and they definitely could be. The Atlanta Falcons, I it's a tough one for me, but I think they're a middle of the pack team. I that offense is explosive. It really should be explosive, at least. You have Bijan, you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts is on, hey, I have to prove it this year kind of thing. This is his time, right? And I think if Michael Penix is your guy, he does like to throw to the receivers a lot, but I think that could absolutely be the case. And you have a defense that is really developing. Um, you're hoping that with all these new jumps into youth. Basically, this team needs to be a middle of the pack to a playoff team right now, especially after the move they made for Jalen Walker and to get James Pierce in there. So I'm going to lock them in to be a middle of the road team. I think they're developing and that they're going to develop well, and they're going to be in that upper echelon. They're going to be close. I think that they could even make a shot at the playoffs here. Next team, I think, will be middle of the pack. I think will be the Chicago Bears. I think that they're going to take a lot of steps in the right direction under Ben Johnson. I don't know if this is a playoff team year one. In fact, I don't believe that they will be, but I think that they will be better. I think that they will be a lot better. And I'm going to lock that in as the reason that I think that they're going to be a middle of the pack team. Their defense was already pretty good. Hopefully, Ben Johnson can keep coaching them, and they'll be in a just fine position in that case. But yeah, I don't think that we're having any issues there. I think that's a pretty solid middle of the pack team right there. And there will be one last team that I throw into that middle pack area, and I can't believe I'm saying it. I think that it will be. Who do I think it'll be? Who do I think it'll be? I think it'll be the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, I think Bryce Young takes steps in the right direction. I think their running game is better. Um, they definitely have needed youth in that wide receiver position, with Adam Thielen being your lead receiver. Now you have Ted McMillan, you have Xavier Legette. Bryce Young has the tools. I think you'd probably like a tight end that can play a full year. That might be the only thing for me. But yeah, if that defense is anywhere near where you want it to be, then this is a great team. This is a great pick, and they're going to be just fine. Okay, so now I'm gonna go with my below. Actually, I'm gonna put New England in that middle of the pack area. I think they're gonna be okay. I do. I think I like what they're building. I don't think that they're ready for the playoffs yet, but I like what they're doing over there under Mike Vrabel. I like their team so far. Below average teams. Now Jacksonville. The problem is I don't have faith, and that's really the only reason I'm putting them in that below average, because I think that team has all the talent in the world to be good. I just don't know if I believe in them is really the issue. Yeah, I think it's a good team on paper. It seems like a team that could even be competing in the playoffs, but they actually got to get themselves there. San Fran and Seattle. Obvious reasons this team is taking, steps in the wrong direction. They're trying to be kind of rebuilding in that kind of area. I think they're going to be okay team, maybe a 6 to 7 win team. I could definitely see both of them there. Yeah, I think, and actually, I'm gonna throw the Cardinals in that area too because just last year, all three of these teams were okay at times. They could definitely knock themselves out, but I have no reason to believe in Kyler Murray just yet. Hopefully, we'll see things go in the right direction for them. But yeah, for right now, I'm not very confident. And the last team I'm going to put in that below average area is the Indianapolis Colts. Yeah, the when it comes to the Colts, I don't know if I believe in that offense. And that's my only real concern with them because I think their defense is pretty solid. Like, it's a pretty solid defense. So, overall, I don't hate them. I don't hate their team whatsoever. I think that they're going to be an okay ballpark team, kind of 6 to 7. Obviously, I believe the Titans will be the last in that division. I don't have a lot of faith. And, yeah. Um, and actually, I'm going to throw one more team into that below average. I think the Raiders will be a lot better. Cleveland, New Orleans Saints, and both New York teams. I have no reason to believe that these teams are going to go anywhere in particular, and that's why I'm kind of locking in with both of these guys. These guys being cellar dwellers. New Orleans Saints obviously are in a complete rebuild, and the Browns. I don't understand what they're doing. That that's really all there is to it. And the Browns could definitely be better. They definitely could. But for now, I'm kind of with them being a cellar dweller right now. I don't know who they start at quarterback. I don't know if it's Shador. I don't know if it's Dillon. I don't know if it's Flacco. It definitely could be any of the three. I really think Kenny Pickett's the only one that won't be there. But yeah, that's what I think I'm gonna lock in. I think I'm gonna lock this in, and I think I'm gonna stay with it proud and take it on the chin when I'm completely wrong. But that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you enjoyed this content. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe if you haven't, and come check us out. We're all just chilling. We're all just having a fun time. Oh, with all the crazy things that are happening in the world. I hope you all stay blessed. Hope to see you all again next time. I appreciate you. Have a good day.